Long famed for its ancient parliament, motorbike racing and tailless cats, the Isle of Man proudly claims to be one of Britain's best-kept secrets. Just 33 miles long and 13 miles across, perched between the Lancashire coast and Northern Ireland, the island is home to a population of just over 76,000. It's a mecca for bowlers and has hosted one of the sport's most prestigious bowling festivals for the best part of a century. But this is Crown Green bowling, played by more than 300,000 men and women in the north of England, Wales and the Isle of Man, and practically nowhere else in the world. The bowlers bowl underarm along the ground at a jack, but that's where the similarity with flat green bowling ends. The green has a ridge in the middle. The bowlers can bowl anywhere on it, and the spectators barrack the players at every opportunity. The inaugural Manx Classic has attracted 32 of the best bowlers in the country. Led by national number 1 Graham Wilson, the field includes Warrington's vastly experienced Tommy Johnston, Barry Booth, one of the game's most colourful characters, fellow Stoke bowler Kerry Morris, Lee Lawton, ranked number 2 in the country, and leading the female challenge, Birmingham's Melissa Herbert. But Crown Green bowling is not just about the players. Several hundred spectators pack Nobles Park, and we're keeping the bookmakers busy.
My name's Bill Forber, I'm a bootmaker, come from St Helens. I'm here to make some money, hopefully. These are the odds that's on this championship. The favourite's Graham Wilson, who everybody knows in the bowling world is the number 1 at present.
Do you think we'll see many upsets today? I mean, is that something you'd expect?
I'm hoping so.
We're betters, gamblers and bowlers. They both go together. We back the bowlers to win the games. In fact, we're hoping to have the 2 finalists in, Matt Gilmore and Jeff Telford. Those are the tips from 3 professional views.
No, they're not the red hot favourites either, are they?
No, we're not backing the favourite. We don't like him.
Avoid the favourite.
Avoid the favourite, no value. It's called Graham Wilson, he's a Yorkshireman and we don't like him. So we can't possibly, favour him. Yeah.
Graham Wilson had a tough first round encounter with local bowler John Kennish. At one stage trailing 19-18 in the first to 21 match, Wilson eventually triumphed 21-19 after securing the last 3 points. There was another close call in Melissa Herbert's first round match against Stoke's Barry Booth. Melissa trailed 20-11, but clawed 5 points back with a spirited response.
The officials are ready for their refreshment.
In Crown Green bowling, the bowls are slightly smaller, the jack a little bigger than in the flat green variety. Fortunately, Melissa was eventually beaten 21-16. In the end, a win, but playing against a top-rated female player clearly caused a few difficulties for Booth.
It's a little bit difficult, right, because you're on hiding to nothing. As you noticed there was all shouting for Melissa, and I just had 1 or 2 shouting for me, so yes, it does. It puts pressure on you. Yes, but hopefully that's gone now.
And so to the first round results. Liverpool's Mick Andrews was a comfortable winner against Carl Armitage. Tommy Johnston also safely through, while Lee Lawton needed a sudden death finish against Colin Kelly. Wallace's Matthew Gilmore beat veteran Norman Fletcher 21-13. In the bottom half of the draw, the widely fancied Jeff Telford came through against Ian Nicholson. Kerry Morris lost out by the narrowest of margins to Andy Cairns, while Mike Leach was a surprise victim, beaten by Wigan's Stuart Mort. Huddersfield's Mick Smith beat Stan Frith in a nail-biting final end. Mick Andrews was Graham Wilson's second round opponent, and at one stage trailed 14-11. But favourite Wilson failed to press home his advantage and won only one more point, as Andrews came home 21-15 to register his first ever win against the country's #1. Andrews from Liso near Liverpool was a beaten finalist in last year's Isle of Man June Festival. But beating favourite Wilson is one of his finest achievements in the sport.
In hospital yesterday, we need a drug test, Mike, if you don't mind.
A bit of a comeback, yeah. Turned it round. I've never beat Graham. He's very difficult to play against. But I enjoyed the game, obviously, with winning.
Graham Wilson wasn't the only major casualty in round 2. Lee Turner was put out by Andy Cairns. Lee Lawton lost a close match against Matthew Gilmore, and Jeff Telford was hammered 21-9 by Welshman John Bailey. Mick Smith at the bottom progressing comfortably against Paul Bailey. Into the quarter-finals, and it was finally the end of the road for Barry Booth, losing convincingly to Mick Andrews. It was closer in Tommy Johnstone's match against Matthew Gilmore. In the end, Johnston coming through 21-15. But Mick Smith needed to be on his best form against Stuart Mort. And he was on form, progressing eventually 21-19.
Why are they taking this? Well, it's these summers now.
While John Bailey faced a dramatic last delivery at 20-all against Andy Cairns. He chose to fire Cairns' bowls away from the jack and succeeded to win by the narrowest of margins.
Got off to a bad start, it was 15-5 down against Lee. Lee's a good player, you know, got back to 15-all, and it was nip and tuck all the way from there, you know.
Right down to 20-all.
20-all, yeah. We just managed to fire him off last time.
That really is hit or bust, that last.
Yeah. But, you know, Lee's second bowl was on the land, and I thought, I can't get round it. So the easiest thing is to try and smack it off. You know, so luckily, just hope I can continue now.
Welcome back to the Isle of Man and to the inaugural Manx Classic Crown Green bowling event. And here's confirmation of the quarter-final results. Mick Andrews beating Barry Booth, Tommy Johnston through against Matthew Gilmore, John Bailey putting out Andy Cairns in dramatic fashion, and Mick Smith progressing at the expense of Stuart Mort. So the semi-final lineup pairs Mick Andrews against the new tournament favourite Tommy Johnston and Welshman John Bailey against Mick Smith. It's raining now as we join the first semi-final. Our commentator, Mike Leach.
And we're joining the first semi-final here with Tommy Johnston leading 16-12 against Mick Andrews. Semi-final of the Manx Classic, the inaugural invitation tournament, and that's a great lead from Tommy. It's been a close game. Tommy behind early on, but had a break from 10-8 down to lead 15-10, and now looks in command of the game. Both players have played exceptionally well considering the variable conditions during this match. A couple of heavy showers, you can see wearing waterproofs. Tommy playing a mark, he's played well throughout the day. Just made two probably there. Important bowl at 16-12 down, Mick Andrews. Got to find one here. He's after it, but has he reached? Just drifted wide. Left 2. 18-12. You see the state of the green. Been vandalised earlier in the week, but the greensman worked wonders. Although it looks unusual, doesn't affect the play. Tommy playing the long finger peg towards the corner. His woods are quite keen, sometimes difficult, particularly for a left-hander to follow him. Good bowl. Mick Andrews now must count this end if he's to have any chance in this game. Looks like he's played one. Good ball, won it. Tommy might play a little reacher at that. Wood's now picking up a bit of grass. His green's not as quick as it was, and he's played at it, and it's just drifted by. Well, Mick Andrews is after this. Not quite going to reach. Andrews won, 13-18. First to 21, of course. Leads off. He's not altered the length as much as perhaps some think he should. Cutting across the green, but a similar distance to that which Tommy likes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and that's a great ball from Tommy. That's really put the pressure back on Mick. Looking at the scoreboard, just to check he's not 19 down. And he's had a strike. Doesn't look to have sent it very cleanly. Oh, he's gone through the gap. Very unlucky ball. Here we see it again. Not the cleanest delivery, but it's gone right through that gap without touching anything. So Tommy now has a big chance to go 20, all but. Coming in well. Touches the jack. Two good bowls. So Tommy now leads 20-13. Seems a comfortable lead. You've seen leads like that lost though. A couple of bad ends and suddenly it's 20-17 and the pressure's on again. But somehow I don't think Tommy will lose this game now. Finger peg. Not an easy mark. Good lead. Ironically, of course, now the pressure's off Mick Andrews because he's all but lost the game. Might well find a bit more fluency, although it's been difficult conditions.
Yeah.
And that's just won it. Tommy's played a reacher at it. Maybe it's his turn to go through the gap. He's half bowled his own, made it worse. So Mick Andrews now has a chance here to make 2. 15-20 if he makes 2. Wins a couple of ends after that, he's still in the game. Another good bowl from him. Stopping in. Really needs, I think, to change his tactics now. To try maybe something a bit shorter rather than the distance that Tommy likes. Pouring down now, as you can see, with the spectators, with their umbrellas. Not easy conditions. And there you can see the other game, in fact, is on the green. The other players playing because of the conditions. The organisers have brought them on early, so they're just starting their other semi-final. But we'll obviously stay with this till its conclusion. Tommy now trying to find one good wood. That's all he needs. That's all he'll think he needs for game, and that might be it. Past Mick Andrews' short bowl, which is now balking Mick Andrews. You can see he's studying it, trying to think, can he get past? This could be the last bowl he sends in the tournament. Well, Not reached. Put it wide to miss his own bowl. Not there. Tommy doesn't need to send his second bowl, of course. One game, and that's it. 21-15. Tommy Johnston wins, and he's through to the final.
Welcome back to the Isle of Man for the very first Manx Classic Crown Green bowling event, featuring 32 of the country's top bowlers. Tommy Johnston has already earned his place in the final, beating Mick Andrews. Now it's the turn of John Bailey and Mick Smith, as we rejoin commentator Mike Leach.
And Welshman John Bailey leading out, now within striking distance of game. It's been a real struggle, this game. 19-14. Lead about a yard short. Mick Smith has to beat that if he's going to stay in the game. He has done. Good bowl. Very smooth left-handed delivery. Played really well all day. He's after it. He likes it. Just drifted back. Just took a bit of a kick there. And drifted against the bias. Gone out. So Mick Smith lives again. No real danger, but might be a bit apprehensive about playing for two. He's gone for it. And he's made two. That's a good two off a fair lead. 16-19. Game's alive. Now, as you can see, the weather's better. Mick's played very well today. Couple of very tight finishes. First game, 21-20 against Stan Frith. Probably lucky to win that. Well, it's not a bad lead at the distance they've played. Well, John's following it. He likes it. That might well be good enough for 20. Mick Smith's own ball balking him. Finger peg right into the corner. Not a lot of bias on this mark, so can't afford to get too wide. He's gone wide, drifted past the jack and gone out. Well, this for game. No danger. Just seemed to flip that out a bit, the way he sent it. And he's not sent it. He's left it short, perfect line. A yard in that would have been game over. As it is, it's all but. Back he goes to the other corner. Again, a mark he's played well. What you say, live and let live that. Big swinging mark, using his left hand there, John. But he's not fooled Mick. He's inside his bowl, good bowl, perfect length. John just needs to find one more good ball. Oh, he's striking at it. Oh, extraordinary, unlucky. Hit the ball he went for. Taken his own off as well. Leaves Mick Smith with an easy point. Anywhere on the green would win it. He didn't take the chance of sending it off. Well, that was very, very unlucky, that ball. Smith leading out, 17-20 now. 2 ends away himself from possible victory, but not a good lead. Not good enough. It's run well. Now, how rattled will John be by that unfortunate strike at the last end? Close, but not won it, I don't think. John's problem he'll have in his mind that he thinks the game should have been over last end. Now all he has to do is beat that lead. Nice delivery. This isn't short. It's gone out. I think it's gone out. Yeah, Mick Smith signals. $18-20. Pressure's on both players now. This has all the hallmarks of another tight game at the death. No, he's gone after that. Just a little grimace when he delivered it, as if he likes it. And that's why. No more than a foot off. Lies to be 19-20 with that. John's bowled. After it. It's not after it with any enthusiasm. No, it's pulling up well short. Oh dear. All Mick Smith has to do is beat that to lie to be 20 all. Likes it. Certainly after this. Pace looks good. Past it. That's another good bowl. Not close enough for John to strike at. If he'd put another with his other, I think there'd have been a strike. As it is, he's got to play one now. Got to play a perfect bowl to win this match. He's close. It's drifted. It's just drifted out. Certainly not won the end. Is it second? But both looking. John turns away, asks Mick what Mick thinks. Sort of camaraderie that exists between players there. Ask each other, who do you think's in? Yeah. Neither of them seem to know. They've called for measures. They've measured Mick's first and declared Mick Smith's in. 20 all. No question of having to be 2 points clear at this game. Sudden death now. Next person who wins at end wins the match and is in the final to play Tommy Johnston. Advantage, you would think, with Mick sending the jack, particularly in variable conditions. But the bookies always reckon that 7 out of 10 games are won at 20 all by the man with the last ball. Well, he didn't like it. It's not that bad. John's not had the jack for the last 5 minutes.
Short, isn't it? Can it win though?
Well, he's running after it. He thought he liked it and it's dropped short.
It's 1-0, has it? I don't think it's 1-0.
Looks like Smith won at the moment. Has to avoid hitting that. That would be a calamity. Well, he certainly avoided hitting it. He was very apprehensive there. This ball to win.
Didn't get it up well. He's roaded, but...
Well, the crowd say he's roaded. Has he reached? He's not reached. He's just caught his own. Still short.
Measure, please.
Measure again. Now then, who's in? Doesn't come any closer. 20 all and a measure. And judging from that, the way he's flipped that mat in the air there, John doesn't like his own bowl. Measuring his first, so we should be able to tell. Touching jack and bowl. If the string's slack on this, the bowl's in. If they can't reach, it's not. Gosh, it's close. They've called it in. Smith won. 21-20. Got out of jail. And now we'll play Tommy Johnston in the final. What a recovery from 2016 down. No wonder he's pleased.
Welcome back to the Isle of Man for the Manx Crown Green Bowling Classic. 32 of the country's very best bowlers started out, and now it's the final. A Yorkshire-Lancashire clash between Tommy Johnston of Warrington and Huddersfield's Mick Smith. So we return once again to Nobles Park, Douglas, the weather glorious, and your commentator, Mike Leach.
Yeah, once again, Tom. Have a good game. Cheers, boys. Kill. Finger time.
And Mick Smith leads out, tells Tommy the peg, which bias to go, although Tommy will probably know. I'd be surprised if Tommy was going to go wrong peg. But it's a common courtesy just to tell your opponent which bias you're sending the jack. Finger peg out. Start of the final. Mick Smith having really got out of jail in the semi-final. Can he carry on where he left off? Not a great lead. And Tommy back on form. He's had a bit of a wait for the other semi to finish. Great bowl. Now Mick Smith's after this. He likes it. He's not going to pass his own, surely. Can he miss his own? Oh, he's clipped his own, and that's put him back on the land and wins. Well, wonderful little touch off his own short bowl there. Tommy's playing at it, playing through. He plays these bowls very well, but I think he's just balked by that short bowl. So, a bit of a wry smile on Tommy's face. I don't think he'd be too impressed. 1-0 down. Final being played in pleasant sunshine. Now at the third end, Mick playing back on the mark. 3-0 up. Is he going to get a good start to this game? Well, Tommy's taken advantage again of a poor lead. But last time over here, Mick found a marvellous second bowl. He's after this. Has he reached? No. Just dying, surely. This time his own bowl blocks him. So Tommy's in. He mustn't hit those. If he runs into those, there's a plant on, and he'd actually plant the further bowl from him towards the jack. So he must stay away from those two bowls. And he has done. He's stayed well away. He's left it short. Nice to get the first point on the board for him. 1-3. Freddie Hume, Colin there. Big betters. Not sure. I think they'll have the money on Johnston somehow. Well, Tommy's in his favourite corner. Now leading 4-3. This is a mark he's played so well all day. He'll stick to this for as long as he can. Only if he's in trouble will he change. And just caught Mick Smith playing tight there. Finger peg. He's wafting at that. That's tight as well. It's a straight mark. You certainly can't give them too much land, but that's tight as well. Bit of room here for Mick. Now he's giving it a bit more. Now, how much bias in his woods here? Oh dear. It's short. 2. 6-3. Finger peg back. Finger peg both ways.
Get on a bit, lad. Get on. And again, lad.
Not a great lead, but Mick's not playing this mark with any confidence at all. You can see the effect the rain's had, picking up bits of grass now. Some use a rag, some don't. Tommy, I can't think I've ever seen Tommy play with a rag to clean his bowls. Just sends them as they are. Very uncomplicated delivery. Doesn't mind these conditions at all. Well, that's certainly one it, maybe two. Mick Smith also not using a rag, but not looking as comfortable. Oh dear, unlucky. Left 2, Tommy's run to 8-3, he's had an 8 break. And now we're rejoining it, and that 8 break's now become a 16 break. He's had 16 without reply. Is he going to run to the end of the game, get a 21 break? A destructive passage of play so far as Mick Smith's concerned. Probably little or no chance of recovering from this sort of deficit. Tommy's given him a little bit of room here, but he's still struggling with this land. He's tight again. He's playing tight with one bowl, 2 back with the other. Perfect length. Head down. Tommy not want to take his foot off the pedal, although he has done. He's gone very tight himself. It's just a mark on a bit of a knife edge. No real room for error. Well, Smith's second bowl. This looks good land. Will it come in enough? It's going to have to be a perfect length to come in. And it's pegging, and he's played one. Break over. 4-16. What can he do now? Well, we're rejoining it. There's no real significant change. Mick Smith hasn't been able to make a break himself. It's now 17-4 and Tommy's lead. Playing really for pride now, you may think. Not many games are won from 17-4 down, but will want to give a good account of himself, and this is much better. Tommy trying to get back on his mark. That may prevent him from doing so. Mick's got to find something different here. He's got to find a way of getting some points off his own lead. Well, Tommy, good ball. Will it just gone out? So Mick's in, needs now to make some 2s. If he can make 2s, he'll feel he can get into double figures. That'll be his target at the moment. Well, he hasn't done, only one. 5-17. Where's he going to go? Really needs to change the length. Still not done so. He's come right in Tommy's corner, but changed the peg. Interesting tactic. I don't think it'll cause Tommy too much concern. Legitimate tactic sometimes to go back on the same mark but change the bias. But I think the distance is what he needed to change rather than just changing the bias. He needed to shorten it. Tommy's in, Mick's coming up. Likes it, but they drift here, and it's just ducked against the bias, drifted out. Tommy won. Chance of 2, in which case it'd be 19-5. Clean delivery. Looks like a good ball. Still, as you can see, picking up a little bit of grass. Touches his own. 2. 19-5, and I don't think Tommy will change the mark now. He'll be happy where he is. That's the trouble with going back on that same mark. When Tommy gets in, he's back where he wants to be. Same mark, finger peg. 45 yards possibly. There you can see the way in which he was holding the bowl. His finger on the bias side, he had his thumb on the opposite side to the bias there. Some players have a natural preference for one bias or the other. Reasonable lead again. Just on a mark where the bias is slightly counteracted by the slope of the green. So it doesn't peg very much, just at the death here. Just a little bit of bias now. Well, that's done its best to go out. It's done everything wrong, even fallen the wrong way. Don't know if it's in or not. Tommy's not bothered. He thinks he can beat it anyway. But I think he's slipped one badly. He's in the ditch. Possibly one of the worst balls he's sent all day. Don't think it'll be complacency. Just slip one out. And Mick now has a very good chance to get his hand on the jack again, and that's certainly a good ball. Yep, 2 is given. Tommy concedes it. Very good judge. Doesn't call for measures. 7-19. Now he has changed the mark. And he's gone thumb. You can see the other side of the bias there. Thumb peg. There he's holding it. Just will expect some bias here. I think this is the sort of mark he needs to play. But he needs to lead if he's got to have any chance at all. Tommy will, I'm sure, fancy beating that. Well, he hasn't done. I don't believe it. 1 minute he's wrapping them all around the jack. Last 2 ends, can't find a good wood for anything. That'll give Mick Smith some encouragement. He should certainly be looking at 1 down there. And now he can play. Pressure's off. Tommy now will certainly be playing to save. He's not going to overreach at that when the second counting ball's so far off. And here it comes. He was hoping to win the end, but his main concern there was to make sure that Mick Smith didn't get 2. 1 it is. Well, as I say, Mick's ambition now is to get as many as he can. He starts getting close. Tommy's just been playing a little bit ragged the last couple of ends. If he can just put some pressure on and make a good lead. Well, line's good. Can't miss the jack. It's a good hit. It would have gone some distance missing. Yeah, no wonder Tommy's smiling. Well, Mick, thumb peg. He's altered the peg here, and this, if it'll just work now, it can win it. It's just worked round. Good bowl. Under enormous pressure there. Tommy lying to be 20. If he didn't beat that, he was likely to be game over. I think Tommy might play a reacher here. Mick's told him who's on. Tommy might play a reacher, trying to make 2. Yep. He's gone for it. He's gone for that winning ball. If he hits it full. But he hasn't. Smith won. 9-19. Nearly in the same street. Enthusiastic supporter there with all the scores marked up on the card. Been a tremendous day's bowling. And there's plenty more to come this week, because this marks the start of the Isle of Man festival. 2 festivals here, June and September. Tremendous week's bowling for bowling enthusiasts. Been running for in excess of 80 years now. Well, what sort of lead can he make? He's playing thumb peg. I think he's right. Tommy probably has a preference for finger peg, but he's still going to have to lead better than that if he's going to catch up. It's one thing winning from 2016 down, it's another winning from 19-9. But Tommy's just lost the feel of it. Mick will just be beginning to think if he could just string 3 or 4 more good ends together, well, that's certainly better. He'll have a chance. What can Tommy do with these? Can't really play through at them. Doesn't want to leave 2. Well, it's certainly not winning it. Just held up enough on a length. Mick's looking from a distance, but I would say that's got second. Takes 1 out, looks for 2, but only 1. Double figures, 10-19. And now we see him leading out another end later. He's got another 1, 11-19. And this time he has made a lead. Now that is a good lead. Really tactically found a good mark to play here. And this would be one of the great recoveries of all time if you can get close to Tommy now. Well, it's not going to win it. It's just going to fall behind. That's fine so far as Mick's concerned. There's absolutely no danger. No way can he put Tommy's wood in there, so he can afford to reach up. If he manages to move the jack, it'll hide it. That's not a bad place either. He's only 1, but if Tommy plays through and the jack's moved, he might score with that. Tommy wants to know that it's only 1. Again, he'll play a reaching bowl, trying to find a way to remove Mick's winning bowl without disturbing the rest of the bowls or jack. Done the jack, and is it going off? No, it's stopped on, and Tommy's wood's behind Mick's. So that second bowl of Mick's was in the perfect position. Another one. 12-19. Back we go. No reason to change the mark. Some people say, well, he might go on it too long, but you can't go on it too long when you're scoring. He's got to stay with this mark, got to find another good lead if he can. Left Tommy a bit of room here. Tommy just not as comfortable on this thumb peg mark across the crown as he was on the finger peg corners. You heard the crowd say there, won it, and won it has. 15-18 inches from the jack. This is a time Mick's got to beat that. If he doesn't beat that, Tommy will have a wood for game. Well, he's after it. He likes it, he's urging it on. It's not going to reach. He's left it. The only redeeming feature about that, he's left it in the way. So Tommy lies 20. All he has to do is beat Mick Smith's nearer bowl, and it's all over. I think that bowl's going to balk him. He's just scraped past it, but I would think the back bowl must have a chance of being second. Foreshortened view from where we are, we can't tell. The players can tell, they're both having a look. No, 1 only. Tommy throws the mat down, picks up the jack. 20-12, leading for game. Some Blackpool contingent there watching. They're here for the week, of course. Both playing in the festival. As you can see, Tommy back on the mark that he likes so much. Will that be good enough? Will that be the bowl that wins him this inaugural tournament and a first prize of £900? Well, he's given up. I think it's nearly over now. He wants to know how far he's got to knock him to put him in. He's not happy. It's just balking him. Just moved an inch on the mat there. You're supposed to keep the toe of your foot on the mat. A lot of bowlers don't bother with that. Not too bothered about the technicalities, some of us. And he's just played short. He's just a bit bothered about running into the back of it. Now Mick Smith can afford to run into the back of it. If he runs into the back of his own, he'll probably knock it in. He must reach. The one thing he mustn't be is short. He's played, he's passed Tommy's, but he's passed everything all over. Tommy Johnston won, game 21-12. An excellent day's bowling and a worthy winner.
Congratulations to Tommy, he's a smashing bowler, good lad, known him a lot of years. I'm out-bowled, outplayed, out-manoeuvred and out the sweep, so what can you do? I tried my best, it just wasn't good enough. Tommy played really well.
Fantastic start, like, and Mick clawed his way back in, and I was just trying to get a few wobbles, and luckily I just got out in time. But he's a great fighter, Mike, like, as you see in the semi-final, and he's been around for years and years, and he's a really hard nut to crack, you know.
When you say you were getting the wobbles, were you thinking, I mean, you were 19-5 up, weren't you?
I've been in that situation before, and actually lost a final last year, so it was just in the back of my mind, like, you know, so I was just glad to get over the finishing line, really, you know.
Mick Smith then, not quite producing his best form in the final, but a worthy runner-up.
And now the winner, first Manx Classic Day of Champions, Tommy Johnston.
So there he is, Tommy Johnston, the winner of the first ever Manx Crown Green Bowling Classic. We hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next year.